Hello everyone and welcome to Busy Mum Homestead. It's Louise here, and today I'm taking you through a video that I recorded some 3 weeks ago now on the 18th of May. And in this video you're going to see me now chopping up some of my homegrown tomatoes, and I'm going to be turning them into diced tomatoes. Now, I have looked at lots of methods for doing this, and this is what I found works for me. So basically all I do is just chop up the tomatoes. I'm rinsing them here. They're a basket full of homegrown tomatoes, so I'm just giving them, they've been given a rinse, and then I only have a little pot because I've only got this colander full here of the tomatoes, and all I'm going to do is just chop them up into quarters or little chunks and put them in the saucepan, add some water, boil it down for a little while, and then jar them up and water bath can them. Now, I am a rebel canner and I do things with water bathing, so if that's not for you, then that's okay. Everyone is different. And if you're just learning out, I might do a video more on canning, but this is just what I do for now. And on this video, you can see me, I'm just about to start chopping it up, and I basically just chopping off the ends, putting them in that little white bowl, and the pieces that I chop up into chunks go straight into the saucepan. I'm realizing as I was watching this that my knives need sharpening, so just ignore that. But I have recorded this. It takes 11 minutes 30 for me to chop up these tomatoes. Now, I was going to delete it and cut this all out. However, I was finding as I was watching it, it was quite relaxing for me to sit and watch the video of myself chopping, so I decided to leave it in for those of you that like a little bit of quiet video to watch. So if you don't want to watch me chopping all of these tomatoes, please skip ahead to 11 minutes 30. If you do and you feel like it's going to be relaxing, then feel free to watch till all through it, and I will see you on the other side of this. Thank you. And I just realized I forgot to say that when I was doing this, I have lots of different sized tomatoes here. So I have some cherry tomatoes, I have some Romas, I have some slicing tomatoes. I have all of the tomatoes that were in my garden just sort of mixed together into this pot. So some of the little cherry tomatoes are small enough that I just throw them in whole, and then when they cook down they burst open anyway, so I'm not worried about those. Anything bigger than probably, I don't know, 1 centimetre to 2 centimetres, I will chop in half at least. But yeah, so there's lots of different sizes. Some of the little tiny cherry tomatoes, you'll just see me throwing them straight in. And yeah, I just thought I'd mention that, you know, it doesn't have to just be paste tomatoes to make canned tomatoes. You can do whatever you want. There is more seed and liquid in slicing tomatoes, but you can still use them just fine for diced tomatoes. Now, what I usually use diced tomatoes for is when I make spaghetti bolognese from scratch, and also like tacos. I'll add in, I make my own spice mix for tacos, and then I'll add in a can of diced tomatoes just to give it a saucy consistency a little bit, and, you know, some more tomato flavour, which also works really well if you're running low on fresh tomatoes, because then there's chopped tomatoes in the base of the mince, so you don't really need to add extra tomatoes on top. But we also do like to do that sometimes, so just another option there, especially when times are tough and we don't always have access to fresh fruit and vegetables. Yeah, so mine is quite liquidy, my sauce, and that's okay because I like to boil it down once I'm cooking the meal that I'm making, so it's not overly liquidy, but it works out perfect for me. And you might think it's a little bit too much liquid for you, and that's okay. You can adjust yours however you like it, but this is how I do it and how it works for us and our family. All right, so yeah, skip ahead to 11 minutes 30 if you don't want to watch me chopping the rest of it up, and I'll leave you in peace. Thank you. So here I'm done with the tomatoes. I'm sorry for the brightness. I did try to adjust it, but it didn't really work very well on this. The overhead light was very bright. So I've got a pot full here, as you can see. Probably should have used a bigger pot. Now I'm just putting in amount of water until I see the water come up at the side, and then I stop. So it turned out to be a little runnier than I liked, so I probably could have put a bit less in there. Probably about, I guess if you put it up halfway of the pot is a good indicator, because there will be juices coming out from the tomato. Now, just a mention and shout out to my parents, because that pot that I was just using, they actually used for me when I was a kid, and it's still going. And Mum gave me that pot and another smaller one as a pair when I moved out of home, and I still use it every single day, and it's still going. So that is from the 80s, well and truly. Oops, I'm not sure what happened there, but so these are a few beetroots that I actually grew in our little pots, and most people would probably throw those out, but we're not big beetroot eaters by themselves in this family. And as you can see here, the tomatoes are coming to the boil, so I'll just turn them down and let them simmer for probably, I think I nearly did for an hour. I'm going to give them a stir, and just half an hour to an hour, depends on what I feel like and if I think that they're smelling nice and tomatoey, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've just turned it down just there. I don't know if you could see that, but it was the one below half or just before half. So, and then yeah, they've cooked down quite nicely here. Quite a good consistency, probably, as I said, a little bit more water than I would have liked, but when I go to make the spaghetti or taco sauce, not a problem at all. And with the beetroots, yeah, we don't eat a lot of beetroot by itself. So I'm making the pickling here. So I'm adding some sugar and vinegar, and I'm just going to heat that up. I can link the recipe down below. I can't actually remember what I used. It was just one I found online, and I don't like to put cloves and things with it. I just do it with sugar and vinegar, and we pickle the beetroot, and I find for me that tastes like tinned beetroot. So if I put cloves and things in it, it just doesn't taste right to me, but I don't know, everyone's different. So with the beetroot, as I said, we don't really eat it by itself a lot as a family, and usually when I'm pickling and jarring up beetroot, I would like to do more than just what I'm doing, but because, excuse the noise in the background, my son's getting out a pot, but as yeah, it comes in, I like to try. I thought I might as well do it, because otherwise the beetroot's just going to go to waste, and I had to pick them. I chopped off, I don't know if you saw, I was talking, but I chopped off the tops, and I actually put some paper towel in a container, put them in the fridge, and then we actually ate them in place of lettuce in tacos that week. So we ate the tops for that, which I really enjoy, in place of lettuce sometimes. So yeah, just an idea if you want to use up the tops but don't know how. A lot of people put them into salads, but you know, we're not a huge salad family. Yeah, so I will sometimes do things like that. We often have tacos, like probably once a week. So yeah. Okay, so as that pickling juice, vinegar and sugar is boiling down and simmering down there, I've just the beetroot has cooled down, so I am now just peeling the beetroot, and I'm about to slice it up, put it into jars, and wait for the pickling liquid to come down a bit cooler, and then I will can it up. So I am Waterbath canning this with everything with the tomatoes, as you'll see in a minute. Some of these beetroot, I probably could have actually boiled them a little bit longer. Some of the skin was quite tough to remove. But yeah, I'm just slicing it up. I'm not the best at slicing, getting it quite nice and even, but I do my best, and it's just for us, so it doesn't really matter. And I don't mind chunky beetroot because I love beetroot pickled like this, especially on a good salad sandwich. So anyway, I'll leave it with you.
My feet is so cold.
While we're watching this, I just remembered that I didn't actually do the full recipe of the pickling liquid because I knew that I probably only have about half a litres worth that I needed. So I reduced the recipe down for this because I didn't want it wasted. I know you can store pickling liquid in the fridge, but I didn't know when the next time would be that I used it, so I just thought I would make a really small batch of it. The recipe I make, I think it makes a lot more. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what I did, but yeah, so you can reduce that. I just didn't want to waste it, so I've just wiped the rims here, about to put on the lids, and then I will get the tomato and start jarring them up as well, ready to water bath everything. You may have just noticed that I took out a piece of skin there and I placed it on the side of the saucepan as I didn't want it to go into the jar. I will remove quite large pieces of skin if I see them. I have a son he's now 15, but he has, I think, low muscle tone. He has a autism diagnosis, and so he sometimes struggles with choking on things quite a bit. So most of the time the skins aren't a problem as long as they're small, but anything large like that I will remove just as an added precaution. I mean, he should be fine these days now that he's much older, but I think it's just habit now for me to remove that, just to make sure that he's okay. I did try blending in the summer and pureeing up skins and everything together in our blender, but I still found there were little chunks of skin. They were really small, but it wasn't enough for me to sort of think that it was worth, pardon me, the hassle of going through blending it afterwards. So I don't think that's something I'll continue to do, but I do monitor my cooking. So when I make spaghetti, for example, I will, if I see a big piece of skin in there, still remove it as I'm cooking it. So that's what I was doing. Yeah, if you don't have anyone that has issues with that kind of thing, then obviously, you know, you're free to go ahead and not remove the skins like that if you wish. I mean, I think they add extra nutrients and vitamins, and that's why I also cook it down when I'm dicing the tomatoes quite a bit, so they're quite a lot softer. But if there's anything still really thick and big, I will remove it. Also, you may have just noticed I put the beetroot into the original pot that I cooked down the tomato in. So that's just me reusing a pot. Yes, it's dirty still. There's still a rim of tomato around it. I think I just gave it a quick rinse and put everything in. So I put the beetroot in so I didn't have to wash it, then get out another pot for that. I cannot remember here how long I cooked everything for, how long I cooked the beetroot for. Hopefully I say what I did, but yeah, the beetroot and the...
So this is where I've stored
tomatoes.
most of my tomatoes.
Were a different time. Here I'm just showing you, this is where I store my cans of tomatoes. So on the left there you can see the pureed ones that I did in the summer. But I didn't really like them as much. But anyway, there's just under my TV table, and I have my TV on top of that because I don't know if you remember, but from my earlier videos I rent, and so storage options can sometimes be very limited in rentals, and you don't always want to be buying new storage all the time. So I think I was just showing you, I think the timer went off, but I'm sorry, I'm talking over it, and I thought that was cool to add. So I just wasted that clip. But anyway, I think I'm just cooling down the tomatoes here, and I'm about to take them out as well. Popped ready. So I didn't, excuse the dogs next door, I didn't record this, but I just planted a pot of snow peas in there, so we'll see how that goes. I really need to buy myself a tripod because it's really hard to film as I'm planting things, but anyway, one day. So I went to plant 2 of the garlic pots that I got yesterday into these ones, but I noticed I actually put some cloves in here, so I've got 2 in there and another 2 in here. So I'm just going to leave them in here because I don't want to get them all different with the different varieties. I want to know which pot's which, even though I think this one's the Tassie purple. Anyway, I decided to keep them separate. So in this one is a new seedling punnet, which is 4 of Tassie purple in this one. I just took out the tomato plant, so that's why you could see the roots in the other one. Why is this going upside down? So that's why you could see the roots. This one is an heirloom variety that I thought I'd try, which is called Garlic Dynamic, which is supposed to be really, really strong and spicy and hot. It's heat rating 9 out of 10. So, definitely thought I'd keep that separate, and we'll see how that goes. And up in this pot, I'm very excited to have it back. I bought myself a black currant plant yesterday, and I did have one up here the first year I lived here, but unfortunately it died the second year. So I found this at the nursery yesterday and got that very happily. So I'm very excited to have another black currant bush, so hopefully this one survives. If I keep up my watering regime this year by hand every day in summer like I did this year, then it should be fine, as long as the wallaby also doesn't eat it. So if anyone in Tassie is watching this and knows if the wallabies eat black currant bush, let me know. I'm assuming that they do, because they pretty much eat anything. I'll probably have to put a cover around this one. So I do have to come through and water these with a watering can, but in this pot I put
potted up 4 of this one, which I got yesterday as well, and it's called Colossus. Years ago in a different garden I grew elephant garlic, and I really loved that. So I'm not sure if this is the same or a Tassie version of it, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Yeah, not really sure. We'll soon find out. So also at the nursery yesterday I got myself some other plants. I got another strawberry plant. I seem to have lost all of mine. It's only one plant, so it's not going to give us a ton of strawberries, but anyway. I also got myself another bay leaf plant. I had one of these a couple of years ago, but it died. So I'm going to up-pot that into another pot for now, and get that going in there. And I bought myself some chrysanthemums, and I thought they were very, very pretty, and I think I like looking out of the window at them. I was going to put them in the front of the kitchen window, but I'm really worried that the wallaby might eat them. So I want to keep the prettiness alive, and I'll go plant it in this side garden where I know the wallaby can't get to. Yeah, I don't get presents for Mother's Day. My kids don't really buy me anything as a single mum. It's kind of hard, and I never have any money to just give them money to go get me something. And when they were younger, like they were too little to do that anyway. And so over the years I've kind of gotten used to not getting a present. And yeah, now I just kind of have more important things to spend money on than a present for me. But I decided to buy this for $12 at the nursery for myself. So these plants are my gift, even though it's a week late for Mother's Day. It doesn't matter. This is what I do for myself. So, and yeah, so, and on top, I've also got a chicken in the oven today, because last Sunday on Mother's Day I ordered a roast pork to come from Woolworths, and they delivered our groceries, but they left out all of my meat. So that was a very expensive hassle, and one that left me actually upset, because I was really looking forward to having a roast pork for Mother's Day, at least, even if I didn't get any presents or anything else, and I had to cook it myself. It didn't matter, but then when it didn't show up, I did get quite upset about that, and it took me quite a few days to get a refund for all of the meat, and they probably thought I was being dodgy, because it was the meat, but it wasn't my fault, and it was left out. So what can you do? I did eventually get my money back this week, thank God. So anyway, I'm cooking a roast chicken tonight to try and have a nice roast meal on this Sunday. Alright, so here we go. There's the chrysanthemum. Not in the nicest of pots, I admit, but I can see that from my lounge room window, so that should be nice. Bay leaf is planted. Hopefully keep growing well. And strawberry is planted. This is a view from my lounge room window, so that will be nice and pretty.